Hello friends and neighbors, I'm still in the bedroom of my adolescence, Twilight and New Moon are still hidden on the floor, and I'm going to review a book. As you might recall, one of my New Year's resolutions for 2011 was to read more graphic novels, and as it happens, I had a Borders gift card that I got for Christmas, and I cashed it in and got 4 graphic novels. The first of these graphic novels is Mouse, Part 1, My Father Bleeds History by Art Spiegelman. Now I don't know how well known this graphic novel is. I know that when I was actually in a bookstore looking at graphic novels, I never actually saw it, but a lot of people recommended it to me. Mouse is different from pretty much any graphic novel I've seen, and what I mean by that is that the drawing style is less like a typical graphic novel like you would expect from reading V for Vendetta or Watchmen or something like that, and more like a newspaper comic strip. The drawing is very simple, it's basically just black and white sketches, and yet it's really effective for this story. Mouse is a World War II story. It's a story about Art Spiegelman and the conversations that he has with his father, Vladek Spiegelman, who is talking about his time during World War II as a Polish Jew. This is a 2-part story, and part 1 deals specifically with the time before Vladek was captured and sent to Auschwitz. So we see his early life meeting and marrying his wife Anya and trying to survive as a Polish Jew while all these Jews are being rounded up by the Nazis. Now, I have yet to find a story about World War II that I didn't like, and Mouse is no exception to this rule. It's just a fascinating period of history to look at and tell stories about. And that's basically what this story is about. Not so much the World War II story, but the importance of telling historical stories and telling stories about these times past. There are 2 things about Mouse specifically, though, that make it stand out. The first, as I've already talked about, is the drawing style. In addition to the very simple style of drawing, all of the human characters are depicted as animals. That is, they have animal heads. The Jews are mice and the Nazis are cats, for example. They are human beings, they just happen to look like mice and cats, and it's never really acknowledged within the story that they look like mice and cats. They just kind of do to represent this game of cat and mouse. And normally I don't really get into stories where you've got animal characters acting like humans, but it works for this one because it's not animal characters acting like humans, it's human characters looking like animals. And it's surprisingly very effective, even though there doesn't seem to be a specified reason for it, it works. And the second thing that makes this stand out is the frame story. Mouse is a story within the story. The internal story, of course, is the story of World War II and the time before Vladek got sent to Auschwitz. But the frame story involves Art Spiegelman and his relationship with his father as he tries to get these stories about World War II from his father. Vladek is not easy to get along with. He's very miserly and very stubborn, very much the stereotypical Jew, a fact that Art actually points out at one point during the story. And so even though Art is frequently irritated by his father, he is attempting to understand his father by gaining an insight on these stories and having his father tell him these stories. And we frequently see that Vladek is not in the best of health. He's recently suffered a heart attack, and he's probably not long for this world, and Art sees that it's important for him to get these stories while the previous generation is still living. And I think that's the most important point to take from this book. The generation that actually lived through World War II is dwindling, and it is important that we speak with them and we get their stories while they are still around to talk to. That's how we gain the true stories of history and the true fascination that is inherent with history, by actually talking with people and getting their personal stories from a real-world perspective. And we also see some really well fleshed out characters with Art and Vladek and the other present day characters as we watch Vladek try to deal with the demons with his past and also the demons with his present, because his wife Anya has recently committed suicide and he and his son both must try to deal with that together. Like I said, it's a 2-part story. I haven't read the second part yet, and the first part does kind of leave you hanging, and so I will be seeking out the second part of this story at some point. But I will say that the first part is an excellent graphic novel. I don't know that it's for everybody, but if you are a lover of history, and specifically a lover of World War II history, you should definitely check this out. Now, I said that I had bought 4 graphic novels, and I'm gonna see if you guys can guess the other 3 graphic novels that I bought. I'm gonna give you some hints. 2 of these graphic novels will probably be featured in future Books vs. Movies reviews. 2 of these graphic novels are also the first part of a series, and 2 of these graphic novels are by authors that I have already reviewed the work of before. Good luck guessing. Oh, and for those of you that already know the graphic novels that I bought, you're not allowed to guess. I assume that goes without saying. And that's it for this review. Until next time, this is Matt Guyon reminding you to get outside and enjoy the sunlight because spring is coming. At least it better be. One last thing, for those of you who are eagerly awaiting the next Books vs. Movies review on The Little Mermaid, that will be uploaded hopefully tomorrow, but for those of you who don't want to wait, I will be posting a text-based version of that review on my website at italkstuff.com. You can find a link in the doobly-dangly-shooply-under-vunder Chamber of Secrets description thing. I think I am going to call it that from now on.